How's it going? This is Hoiman and today we're taking a look at the Amiibo Link figure. So this figure is obviously based on his illustration for Smash Bros. Wii U, and I think overall they did a really good job of it, but the angle of it just isn't all that great, I feel. But taking a look at the sculpt, I feel that the sculpt of this figure is really nice. There's a lot of detail, and for such a small figure, they were able to pack quite a lot of detail in all the smaller and finer areas. So overall it just captures the appearance of Link really well. And then looking at his face, I feel that they've done a pretty good job at his face. Looks like the character. And then the hair is nicely sculpted as well. And then you have his hat, which has a lot of motion in it with the pose and how it's sculpted. You can see all the folds and creases, and you can see all the stitching as well. So it's very well detailed. And then down to his outfit, you can see the chainmail underneath his tunic, and then the green tunic itself is stitched. And then of course you have the belt buckles that goes across his torso. And then on the back you have the scabbard, which is painted in a nice metallic finish. And then all the golds are nicely painted on and are very clean for the most part as well. And that's the same for the shield. The whole shield is nice and metallic. And then all the finer details are sculpted and painted. And then the Hyrule symbol is very nice and clean as well. And then even the underside of the shield is sculpted as well. Looking at his gauntlet, it's very well sculpted with all the details, but it's mainly just painted in a matte brown finish, so there's not really a whole lot of shading going on. But the underside is in a metallic blue, so it makes for a nice contrast. And then the sword itself, very well sculpted. All the detail you'd expect is present, and then it's painted in a nice metallic finish. And then the sword itself is a bit flexible, so you don't have to worry too much about it breaking. But back to the tunic. The tunic is mainly molded in green plastic, but there is a bit of a darker wash of dark green that kind of goes across it to give it a bit more depth, but there isn't really a whole lot. You do have the pouches on the back, really nicely sculpted. And then for the skirt, you can see the chainmail continues underneath as well. Has a nice metallic finish. And then down to his shoes, nicely sculpted. There's a bit of shading in between the gaps as well. Gives it a bit more depth and detail. And then to finish it, you have the stand which represents the Smash logo, which is very reminiscent from the game. And then on the underside, you have legal stuff. So my final thoughts are, overall this is a really nice looking figure of Link, very well sculpted, and all the detail you'd kind of expect is present. And then the stand itself, for whatever reason, they opted to go with a yellow stand instead of a translucent one. So it does kind of stand out a bit. So I'm not too sure why they went with that colour. But my main gripe is that it's the angle of the whole figure. If you look at the illustration of Link, he's actually kind of at this angle in the illustration. But for whatever reason, they pointed him really downwards for the amiibo. So he's always constantly kind of looking down. And because of that, it's kind of hard to see his face and other details. So it would be nice if he was actually at this angle on the stand, because then it's more accurate to the illustration. And that way you can kind of see Link a bit better as well. But as it is now, it's just a bit hard to see all the details. But despite that, if you are a fan of the character or the games, then I can still recommend this figure. It's a really good accurate representation of the character, and for the most part it's a very solid looking figure. But just keep in mind the angle is really off for some reason, and it can detract a bit. But that's my review. Thank you for watching and enjoy some pictures.